Hello everyone and welcome to Blown to Bits. This is a special episode and we are joined by a special guest, but before we get to that, I'm Adam and today with me I have
us first, Charlie, and then
Ryan.
Yay.
And
Dustin.
Hooray!
whom I have not seen in
1 decade.
It's been a long fucking time. A really long time. So Dustin used to play guitar for a band I was in, and we were actually, I thought we were pretty good. I mean, we weren't like the greatest band ever, but it was pretty damn good.
You guys were better in the band that I was in.
What band were you in?
What was it? Cold-Hearted Heroes with Rod and Flip and Beal.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What in?
We had
I
one
remember that.
show at the Long Branch, and I think that was it.
Were you embarrassed or like?
No,
was
I mean it was
oh.
good. It's just like, my synth parts just weren't all that much, and my tambourine playing was probably the highlight of.
You played tambourine?
Yeah, I played tambourine in one song, and that was it.
They used to practice
basically like a bunch of guys that knew how to play but not play with other people.
Right.
Oh, that's funny.
to
Oh, yeah, that's
form a
right.
band.
Dan O'Beal was the,
He's the
drummer.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I remember that now.
I remember everybody was kind of from like different musical backgrounds, but not in the way that makes like a fun experimental band.
Yeah. It was worth trying, but it fizzled out in the end. But I mean, you guys were better than we were, so
It's fun no matter what if you're playing music, I think.
yeah.
Sometimes. I don't know. I've had a few.
I just found playing by myself works out best for me.
Same here. I'm not a band kind of person. I'm more of a by myself solo.
Right. I'm an
I just,
artiste.
Well, Ryan had the coolest stage presence out of any of us in any band ever.
I think so too. Ryan played the guitar, which automatically made him a million times cooler than any of
Right.
us.
Oh yeah.
What was it? My Revenge is Red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was the most seen band that you could possibly imagine.
It was Motley Crue all over again.
It had exactly. It's like the band was like a living, breathing timestamp. like if you were to look at that now or before it happened, you'd be like, "This is fucking insane."
Oh yeah. Borrowing my girlfriend's pants. I mean, putting make on before every show. Teasing the hair.
Yep.
It was pretty funny when I was living in Texas by the time you joined that band, and you had messaged me, and you're like, "I'm in a band," and I was like, "Oh shit!" I just immediately was like, "Oh my fucking god!" Like, why is Ryan in a band?
It was ridiculous. I mean, even the names of the songs was like "Roll Out the Blood Red Carpet." I'd kill a paparazzi for his camera.
Yeah,
And lyrics were like, "I kiss my girl with my fist. Yeah, you know you want it. Yes, come and get it."
Oh god.
dude. But you sent me the recordings when I first heard. I was really like baffled at first. I was like, why would Ryan be in a band? Like, that doesn't sound like his type of thing, And then all of a sudden you sent me the recordings. I was like, that's actually pretty good. Y'all were actually not that bad. Like, y'all were pretty decent.
It was
band.
great quality music for the area.
Yeah,
at the time.
It
for
was.
sure.
It was definitely a lot better than I expected it to be. I was kind of shocked, especially the recordings. The recordings were really good, which I think y'all did them at the Sound Labs, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, which that guy, what's his name? Micah?
Maya. Oh, Sound
Maya.
Lair.
Sound Lair.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. Micah, or is that
Maya?
Maya? I keep saying Micah, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Dude, those recordings, though, we ended up recording those 2 weeks after we formed the band.
Yeah.
Good
Which-
God.
Yeah, which sucks because we were together for a really long time and we did a bunch of songs and, we got better and better and better, but we never ended up recording any of them. It was just those first three just to get something out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that turned out pretty damn good, I think. So what's up with you, Swank? What you doing, boy?
Besides
Baby boy.
watching me mow my lawn.
I have seen him mow his yard.
I know. I saw the comments. Like,
I see two things all the time. I see Ryan mowing his yard, and I see your wife leaving for work, I think.
yeah, in the red car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just spying on people, and I work a whole lot. So,
Where do you work?
I work for Vanderbilt Mortgage and Finance.
Oh, that sounds fancy.
On the phone a whole
I didn't
lot,
even know
didn't
that. So
Yeah, I'm on the phone a lot. It's just people can't afford their house payment, I do everything I can to avoid, the worst possible scenario.
Gotcha.
I think
So
my
you're
older
helping them
brother-
out.
It's a fulfilling job.
Good.
I think my older brother did that at Clayton.
Yeah. Well, Clayton's, we're owned by Clayton, so.
Okay.
Same,
Oh,
same
okay.
building.
That's crazy. I think I'm going to go back and work for Verizon. If they heard this podcast, they wouldn't want me, but
Yeah, they have a lot of phones, so.
they do have a lot of phones. That's crazy. How did you know?
You can get
plethora
you a
of phones.
cellular device there.
Well, they usually give you one when you work for them. They give you what's called a COU, a company-owned unit, and it's like the latest device. Or that's how I had that Nokia Lumia with the 64 megapixel camera or whatever. And they'll have you like have this business phone, and it's supposed to be something that you use to show customers, but it ends up being something for them to incessantly just like call you all the time because you give out your card and it's got that number on it. And every time like I finish with a customer, I'm like, do I really want to give these people my card? Like, is this really what I want to happen?
Gauging throughout the conversation whether or not they would call you.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, there's some people you do want to give your card to because they'll be like, hey, man, I need like 10 tablets. And you're like, fuck yeah, I love you, And then, but the commission structure of this place is supposed to be really good. So I'm kind of excited.
Yeah.
Hopefully I get the job.
I want a phone. Can you hook me up with a free phone?
I couldn't hook you up with a free phone, but
Maybe we could do a deal.
yeah, I can probably get you a deal. They usually give you like a discount on like family lines and shit like that.
I just signed up for a new plan like 2 months ago. So.
You're with Sprint, aren't you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Me too.
Are you really?
Trying to build that
Is
credit.
Sprint that good up here?
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's horrible down in Texas.
It's good enough. Like, there's...
Verizon's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would say probably Verizon... I would say most things are probably technically better. But
Yeah.
It's not bad enough that I ever
It's cheaper.
It's not like
resent my purchase decision.
it's not like Cricket used to be, where you would get service and I wouldn't.
Yeah, we used to run around my 1-bedroom studio apartment trying to be like, I got it!
Yeah. I used to have a room where I had to go stand by the window to get service on a Cricket phone.
And
Right.
Cricket's badass now. That's what I have.
Mhm.
I run Cricket.
Really?
Yeah, Cricket's owned by AT&T. So they use all AT&T towers for prepaid.
What is the Walmart one?
Straight talk?
Straight Talk, yes.
There's a considerably higher up in the chain of command individual at my job, and he swears by Straight Talk.
That's weird.
So
what
it's not like the money for
They,
him.
yeah, it's the service, obviously.
I don't-
Yeah.
Well, they may piggyback because that's what most of those companies do now. Like Boost Mobile it runs off Sprint towers,
Right.
and then you've got Virgin Mobile, which is gone now. They used to run off of Verizon, I believe. I could be wrong, but yeah. So I mean, it's not any of those services are not as bad as you'd think they'd be.
Yeah, with how technology
What
is
are you doing?
nowadays, it's
There's
just,
no longer a Virgin. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no longer a Virgin.
It's deflowered mobile.
Yeah.
It's gone.
We had our
That was a
first night with
horrible
that
joke.
U-Haul.
It was so bad.
So where are you going? You told us you're going somewhere.
I'm going to San Francisco on Wednesday for
What for?
7 days, 6
Ooh,
days.
A week.
Yeah,
To do what?
a half dozen days. We're going there to vacation.
Just cause?
Yeah, just we
You
try
don't
to
have-
we try to go somewhere new once or twice a year, and this is the one for now.
I've always wanted to visit San Francisco.
Right.
I've
It's
never
gonna be
been to
cool.
San Fran. I've been to like Los Angeles.
Watch
and
out for
that.
all the poop on the streets.
I've heard that,
People defecate
and,
everywhere.
They
in San
market that
Francisco.
new app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe an episode or two ago, Adam was talking about the comedy button. All those guys live in San Francisco, and so I'm part of that comedy button group or whatever. And I asked in there like, "Hey, what's some great advice for San Francisco? I'm going in a month." And everybody was just like, "Don't step in people's shit."
Look where you're walking, please.
It's an epidemic.
Man.
No, but we're doing a night Alcatraz tour, which is pretty cool. My wife didn't want to, but she finally gave in, I think.
Isn't that like the jail or something?
It is. It's the Island Penitentiary.
Yeah. Made
Sure-
famous
I'm
by
sure
the
there's-
movie.
Like, are you going to stay
Didn't
the night
Sean
there?
Connery
or-
break out of
No,
that?
it's a tour
Yeah.
at night.
Okay.
I'm sure
No, it's
we'll
Clint Eastwood.
still see several ghosts.
Oh, man.
Wasn't it Clint Eastwood that broke out of
I thought it was Sean
Alcatraz?
Connery.
Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery.
Oh, never
in
mind.
The Rock.
Oh, I'm thinking of the movie Alcatraz.
Oh, the movie Alcatraz.
Yeah, there was one called Alcatraz.
I'm thinking of The Rock.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Rock's so much better.
The Rock's the only one I can think of. Although I know that the movie Alcatraz exists, and I assume that has to do with it.
Yeah, it probably does.
Oh, speaking of penitentiaries, there's one up past Oak Ridge that they just opened to the public for
Brushy Mountain.
self-guided tours.
Self-guided tours.
I used to work for a vending machine company that filled the machines there.
I remember
So-
you doing that.
Let's make a field trip up there.
Okay.
I think it'd be fun.
That sounds a little spooky.
Is it supposed to be like scary or is it?
No, it's just an old penitentiary that they've only got like one ward open. Like the rest is in such disarray, it's unsafe. But
It's
not
like
a lot.
It's like a museum, basically.
yeah, not a lot of
okay.
people know about it, so it's never crowded.
But my bass player and his motorcycle friends went about 2 weeks ago, and he took some pretty creepy pictures.
Sweet.
Of just like stuff that's there.
Well, y'all's whole music video was creepy. Where was that at?
That was stock footage.
Okay, I was wondering. That was like
Yeah, we just hired a guy and said, "Please make our video weird and kind of scary." And I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he did a really good
Mission
job. I thought it was
accomplished.
good.
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen it.
It's pretty cool. I'll show it to you after the podcast.
You're in a band?
plenty of spooks in it. Scares.
Yeah, he's in a hardcore punk band.
We were just talking about that.
Oh, okay. I was like, Ryan, where you been? Is that how you would describe it? Hardcore punk? Because your
Yeah,
drummer
I
definitely
guess.
has a punk
Yeah,
background.
he was in On My Honor. I don't know if you remember them, but like the pop punk, the #1 pop punk band.
Your
around
drummer
here for years.
is fucking sick.
Yeah, he's by far the most talented person in our band. Like,
Really?
by a long shot.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing with us, but he makes our music really good.
Must
so.
be good company at
Yeah.
least.
I guess it's more like it's like hardcore in the sense of like terror or something, but then with like maybe like thrash mixed in.
Thrash, yeah.
Yeah,
can see
I
that.
mean, there's definitely some punk sensibilities.
Yeah. Well, it's got that real steady, just like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah,
that
like,
steady punk beat.
Most hardcore bands now are kind of stop and go. Like, here's some loud, crazy stuff. Now here's a breakdown with all this space, and we're just like, let's just never make a song that's longer than 3 minutes, and it has to be completely nuts the whole time, and fast and mad all the time, and skip all the like slow stuff.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
needs that bullshit?
No Between the Buried and Me for y'all.
No,
I fucking love that band.
yeah,
though.
they're great.
They're still my favorite. I think they're my favorite hardcore band of all time.
They're a cool band.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. So, what video games you been playing, bro?
I'm almost done, I think, with Guacamelee 2. Guacamele 2.
I almost bought it. It's on sale for $7.99 right now on Humble Bundle.
How's it compared to the first?
$7.99.
Yeah.
I bought it for $12.99 on sale and thought I was killing it. So the first one, I think I kind of had more fun with the corny humor and like I guess the story was really fresh.
Yeah.
The second one's kind of presents like there's alternate timelines there's infinite alternate timelines, and you're playing in another timeline to save your old timeline.
Oh man,
It's interesting, but
Yeah.
I like the feel of the first one better, but the actual gameplay and like combat in this one is like a million times cooler.
Really? Yeah, I heard it's 4 players now, isn't it? Up to 4?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
So,
yeah. The first one was just 2, right?
well, the first one actually was just single player for a while, and then I think
I think the Super Turbo Championship Edition,
was 2.
which is a
Okay.
real thing,
Yeah.
added multiplayer.
The Super Turbo Championship Edition, which is almost kind of like I remember another game did that. It was actually a Capcom game. They were making fun of themselves. You remember Dead Rising 3?
Yeah.
They had Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 EX Plus Alpha Turbo. Yeah. And it was like the greatest.
That's
it was
awesome.
He was dressing up as like all the different Capcom characters Frank West was, so you could be like he would cosplay as Felicia from Darkstalkers, and he would like meow and like do all this like stupid girly shit and like beat the shit out of zombies. It was funny as fuck.
He
dude.
could be like Guile too, right?
Yeah, you could be
like
it was Ryu.
Ryu.
And you could be Chun-Li. You could be a guy just as Chun-Li with a big beard. And then the boss was a Nazi version of M. Bison that was a robot.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So
Almost sounds like a Deadpool game.
it is. It's actually really fun. I own it on Xbox One, which I think that means I own it on PC. I'll see if I can download it and show it to you sometime because it's bonkers. Like, it's actually a really good game. That was the whole reason, because I didn't even own Dead Rising 3, and they announced it at an E3. I think it was like E3 like 2014 or 2015 or something like that. And as soon as they announced it, they were like, and it's out today, like one of those games. I was like, yes,
Man, every time there's an E3 coming up, I'm like, I just want one really important announcement, and after the announcement, I want them to be like, oh, by the way, you can play that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want that every time, and it's happened like twice.
Yeah, it's happened a few times. They did
They did Risk of Rain that way.
Risk of Rain was
yeah.
announced that way, which Risk of Rain 2 is so freaking good, dude.
I haven't played 2. You gifted me 1 on Steam. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. The soundtrack alone.
Yeah, the soundtrack is amazing.
It's probably, next to Ori and the Blind Forest, probably one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in any video game. That guy he kills it in number 2. I think number 1 had a better soundtrack, but number 2 still has a good one. What were you gonna say, Charlie? What has a good soundtrack?
That's a heavy, like Mega Man 2. Is like one of the best soundtracks that I've ever listened
Classics aside, because
to. Okay, all right.
Because when you put classics,
video game soundtracks,
when you put classics into the mix, to me that's a whole different genre of music.
Bionic Commando for me.
Dude.
When I think of good game soundtracks, which, Charlie, you're right, but when I think of good game soundtracks, I think of what can I listen to while I'm working, and I could not listen to Mega Man while I'm working.
No, you can't do that.
no, that shit would pump me up.
Any of the Tony Hawk games.
Yeah, dude. That was where I first heard ska music, was in Tony Hawk.
Right.
I had never heard ska music before, and I've never heard of Joyous Punks. Like, that was very
Tony
strange
Hawk
to me.
4, I think, had the best soundtrack. It was my favorite.
I like Tony Hawk 3. It had the Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades.
A lot of the bands that we're friends with and that we play with, probably like 10 or so bands that kind of, we have like a
circle,
a group on Messenger that we talk in, and we've talked about over and over and over, and we're really going to do it, I think, pretty soon. I think somebody's going to pull the trigger on buying recording time or something, but we're going to do a compilation cover album of just songs that appeared on Tony Hawk games.
Dude,
that would be sick.
Would be awesome.
I would buy that CD in a heartbeat, dude. My wife would love that shit.
Yeah, we'll blast that out the wazoo. That sounds awesome.
Because my wife listens to like Pop Goes Punk or whatever.
Yeah.
She loves that kind of shit. So I mean, if y'all did that, yeah, she'd be all about. Which song? If you had to pick a song though from Tony Hawk, what would it be for your band?
For my band, just because I like to make stuff that isn't for my band, I would pick that Papa Roach song from Tony Hawk 2.
Was it? It wasn't Cut My Life Into Pieces.
No, it was like, I don't know, same album.
It was the same album. I just can't remember what the song was specifically.
Right, you just need to listen to like 3 seconds of it, and you're gonna be like, "Oh fuck yeah!" Because I played Tony Hawk 2 out.
Yeah,
like no doubt.
Yeah, Tony Hawk 2 was really good, and another game that had a really good soundtrack that I think gets overlooked a lot was Donkey Kong Country 2.
Yeah,
dude, that soundtrack was so fire. Like, it was unreal. It's like they hired somebody that had nothing to do with the game or the mood of the game or anything. They didn't even show them footage of the game, and they just were like, "Can you just make some really chill beats, bro?"
with like synth stand-up bass.
Yeah, like, and
it's so good.
He was just like, "Okay, man, yeah, I got this." So like, they played him a snippet of the first game, and they're like, kind of like that a little bit, but better, you know.
Take this up a notch.
There's bananas in it. Do something with that.
It's got bananas. It's got coins. You know, that kind of shit.
Just give them the names of the levels, and like you don't even have to say much after that. And just
you know that works though with Donkey Kong because the names of their levels are almost like song titles, like Bramble Blast.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like,
what was the name of the water level, the first water level in Donkey Kong?
I can't remember.
Oh man,
because that song.
Think about trivia night.
I know. That kind of busted my balls right there. I don't really know.
How
Funny,
nerdy
I have a
are
whole
you?
list.
Here it is.
I actually snuck that onto the playlist that plays at Lemongrass. The first water level from Donkey Kong Country is like on a playlist of like all sorts of like other smooth jazz or whatnot. But like I'm serving tables and I hear the dun 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 dun, dun and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is amazing.
My favorite was obviously it was Bramble Blast, which I think is like the most popular one. It's like that dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah,
Dun,
yeah.
dun. It's like the harp playing or whatever, you know, like or the pizzicato strings.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. I could do this all day. I love that song.
I can't remember any of the songs from that game.
Did you play much of that game?
Not much.
Oh, dude, they were great.
I wasn't big in. It was Super Nintendo, right?
Mhm.
I wasn't big into Super
You were a
Nintendo.
Sega guy, weren't you? What did you play
same.
mostly?
Sonic.
Sonic.
Me too.
That was it.
I played Super Nintendo at my uncle's house. I'd spend the night with him like every 3 weeks and
Which uncle?
play Donkey Kong Country too. Keith,
Keith. I remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the redneck one.
He was my favorite. I love Keith. He's so funny, dude.
He's amazing.
He's so like he seems so like hardcore redneck, and then like when it comes really down to it, he's the most sensitive, like sensible guy. If you really talk
Yeah.
to him, like I was having like a freaking mental breakdown out back of Swank's one night, and he came back out there and like instead of being like, "Oh, you pussy," you know, like he was just like, "Oh man,
Hey man, you all right?
He's like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, I looked at him and like I just kind of stopped for a second. I was just like, "What?" I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I'm just seeing if you're okay." He's like, I was like,
He,
"Okay."
That's when you got chlamydia, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. We all remember that. Definitely happened, not fake. No.
Can I say what you told me when I told you I had chlamydia?
What?
Do you remember what you told me?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Because he goes like, I walked up to Dustin. He's turning red.
I don't know what this is.
I walked up to Dustin and I was like, I was real embarrassed. I was like, "Dustin, shit, Ashley gave me chlamydia." And I was like, "I don't know what to do." And he was like, "It's okay. You go down to the health department or whatever." He's like, "I've been there." He's like, "It's happened, you know, something similar's happened to
Happens
me,
to the
you know."
best of us, brother.
And he's like, "It happens. It's okay." He was trying so hard to make me feel better, and he did. He made me feel a lot better. I didn't feel so alone in the world.
Well, I must have lied.
I don't know what.
100% hasn't happened to me.
I totally believed.
I have gotten like in between long-term relationships. I have gotten tested and stuff.
right.
That's probably. I was probably like, oh yeah, they're just gonna stick a Q-tip in his pee hole for a minute.
Oh my god, that was the worst fucking thing in
Just
my
a little
life.
swabberooski. That's all
Yeah.
it takes.
I remember when I did that. It was incredibly uncomfortable, obviously.
Yeah.
But the nurse made it so much worse because she just looked up at me, like eye contact, and she just goes, "You're okay." Like I was some kind of pussy. Like, do you see what you're doing to me?
I think
You're
it
gonna be
also
all right.
depends on the nurse, because I've been tested a couple of times in my life, and some of the nurses like to get a little further than they're
Well,
supposed
some
to.
nurses like to beat up some batter at the bottom of it, you know. And like,
Just see how long this is.
that's what it felt like to me. It felt like she was whipping up a fucking cupcake, you know, like,
first time was the worst. I mean, she did that, so
like circles, like
yeah, and too far.
yeah.
And so the next time I came back, and I was like terrified. I was like, "Give me something to
And
hold
then they're
on
just like,
to."
bloop.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Boop, yeah, you're done."
Whoops! I gotta go get my tweezers.
Snap. That would suck so bad. How did we go from video game soundtracks to sticking a Q-tip down your pee hole?
I don't know.
Welcome to Blown to Bits.
My mom told me she's not watching the podcast anymore.
She's done, so we can say penis now as much as we want to.
I was at the liquor store with my dad today because he had to get something too, and there was like a bottle that had like a rooster on it, and he goes, "Hey, since you like talking about penis so much."
What a dad joke.
I can't wait to show this to my wife and her be like, You didn't tell me you had chlamydia. you like keep watching.
Just keep watching.
I'm ending the show right there.
We'll just cut it off.
Just bleep it out.
You can see him talking and moving on YouTube the whole time. It's like,
He's gonna show up here like 2 hours later with a sleeping bag under his arm. Can I stay here?
stay here, guys. Like, go.
Last time I'm a guest on this podcast. Jeez.
I don't know.
That's about all the time we have.
Is it really? We're already done?
Oh, man.
Damn.
We got
Wow.
a couple more minutes if we want to talk about narcissism.
Oh, no. I think we're good on that.
Where can you be found?
I can be found on Twitter
Narcissist.
at Talleon. That's at TALLEEON. Charlie, Ryan, Dustin, where can y'all be found?
You can find me, Charlie, at shunt_trip at Twitter and anywhere else you can find music, same moniker.
You can find me on Instagram at RTLTC.
And the most
It's
important.
good.
Yeah, his Instagram
very
is
good.
fucking phenomenal. Yeah. He takes pictures of my kids all the time and just posts them in this folder for us. Dustin, where can you be found?
On Twitter, I think it's just Dustin Swank, one word.
I thought it was something about
my
your dad.
name is, I look like my dad.
I look like my dad. Yeah, that's
Hey.
what it was.
When you're in bed with your wife, do you guys do the swanky panky?
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay.
Figure it out.
I will guess what it is now. Hold on. Oh, yeah, we did that.
Yeah, that's his signature move.
You walk in like ready for the swanky panky?
It's the swanky panky.
I was wrong about what I thought it was.
Yeah, not moving like that. That definitely isn't something like that.
That's
I
how
never
you
do
seduce
that.
women, right?
I'm going to try that.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate every single one of you, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.